we would like to invite a guest from the Dalin Qichi Hospital. And there were two doctors today. And lady first, we're going to invite Dr. Chen Qichi. Usually we don't put two doctors together to make the presentation. Sometimes because of the dry mark, we will make a little adjustment. So this time we will have two great doctors from Qichi Hospital to come here to make their presentations. Because this doctor is a female, so lady first. And actually she joined Qichi when she was very little. I really appreciate our editors. And every time when I give her the scripture, and she will give me this poster right away. She worked very efficiently. Whenever I give her something, that she would turn it to me right away, like the next day. So we always have a scripture ready before they have the photo ready. And the graphic editors is done by the brother Youzhe. We actually have very detailed division of the work. So look at our graphic editors teams. And let's look at this one. So first of all, why we say that she joined Qichi very little, and the United Nations that held annually about how the young people can do to change this world. And Qichi, the Qichi Collegian also got invited. And the pre-conference training, under the Qichi Collegian received a lot of valuable lessons. So this, as you can see, this footage. Okay, she said that actually she was promoting the Qichi program, and she was at the New York Times Square. She said she's not familiar with this place, and she has to talk to strangers, and she feels kind of scared to talk to the strangers. And during all this process, we would like to mention about the silent mentors. And let's look at this footage. Actually, when she was a doctor, when she was a student, she joined this ceremony that they pay their respect toward the silent mentors. And the best inspiration I learned from the silent mentor is not to think about ourselves only, but embrace the great love. Because like my teacher, even at the end of his life, he didn't rest because of his own illness. He still sees every opportunity to save the others. So the selfless dedication is really our role model. So when did she starting to join Qichi? And let's look at the other footage. The robotic simulation pneumonia patient, they conduct the robotic mannequins capable of simulating physiological data. So if I can actually learn what teacher taught me, then I can be more confident. I can perform my skill more smoothly. And lastly, you can learn more about Dr. Chen Qichi. Actually, this is her 3rd years of residencies, but she's not worried about her own safety. She volunteered to take the shift in the dedicated COVID-19 wards. Because when the patient first coming here, they looks very tired, they looks breathless, but after they enter the hospital, when given the medication, and usually they feel a less of an improvement by the next days. So she came from Malaysia and to Taiwan. She has been studying in Qichi University for 11 years. What she wants is to show the responsibility of the global issues. What I want to be a doctor because I want to be able to dedicate myself and help the people in need. Even with a minor contribution, I think I'll be able to do it to help the others, to dedicate my power to help the others. Okay, let's look at here. I like to be with you because you have positive energy. Let's look at her. She barely changed. She's still young and pretty. So when you look at the news, and the other volunteer also, they always stay young and beautiful. They don't age at all. And as you can see, the Dr. Chen Qichi, and she came from Malaysia, Malacca. And both of her parents are Qichi volunteers. And actually, when I went to Malaysia, Malacca, when I was there, and there was a group that was welcoming me with the special instruments to welcome us. Just very special experience. So we really appreciate that every people that they come to our stadium to make their presentations. Actually, I really appreciate our Qichi hospital that can recommend doctors to make the presentation and to tell us some medical knowledge. So let's read the with love. Medical personnel possess love, and the word will forth of love. Let's welcome her presentations. And the Venerable Master and all the volunteers here, good days. I'm very grateful to be here to share some of the medical knowledges. I'm with a heart full of gratitude. I would like to tell you a little bit about my backgrounds. I didn't expect those videos would be played before my presentation. And actually, at that time, I can feel my accents in the videos. I came from Malaysia, Malacca, because of my family, both of my parents are the Qichi volunteers. So all family are joined the Qichi, and I was a little volunteer of Qichi. Until I was 13 years old, I became the Qisao. So the uniform has changed. And at that time, my brother and myself, and also both of my parents, we all participate in the Qichi's activities. And at that time, both of my parents also become certified commissioners. They still carry on Qichi's missions until now. And since I was 10, I participating in the home visiting and helping the recycling. At that time, I wanted to become a doctor, because at that time, I think the doctor, they're very great. They're so kind. I want to become like them. At that time in Malaysia, in Malacca, it's a burden area. And as a doctor, that I can stand here as a doctor. I really have so many things and so many people to be grateful for. And I came here when I was age 19. I came here alone with no family, but Qichi people are my family. And Qichi University, they are Yi volunteer. We always call them mom and dad, and they always came here to visit us, to take care of us, to provide a lot of meals. I remember one a winter, and one of the Qichi mommy, she felt that my hands and feet are cold. She thought I might not have enough winter clothes, so she bought the sweater and for me, and she gave me a call to ask me to pick up the sweaters. Until now, I was so touched, and I would never forget about that. I really appreciate all the people that supporting me on my study, all of our volunteers. Also, I grew up from the Qichi world that was funded by Master Chen Yan that can fulfill my dream. So after I graduated, I went to Dalin Qichi to become the resident. And when I turned 32 years old, I became an attending physician. So from my age 10 to 33, I'm full of gratitude and touch. And with all these volunteers to support us to make this world a better place. And today I'm here. I want to use a little bit of my expertise to give back to all the volunteers, all of the Qichi people. And the topic I'm sharing today is hypertension. And because heart disease can cause a lot of other disease, like a stroke and the hypertension. Maybe some of you might encounter this. Maybe some of your family also suffer from the hypertension. So this topic, I hope this can do a little help to help you to gain a little more knowledge about this. So lots of time when I'm talking to a patient in the clinics, and I find out there are many misconceptions about the hypertension, and maybe some of you also have the same questions. And I would like to answer some of your questions to clear up some of the misconception. So I asked the patient, did you check your blood pressure periodically? And everybody answered me that, oh, my blood pressure is normal. I don't need to check it. So what is the definition of the normal hypertension? The normal blood pressure should be? Could you tell me? What? Look at the PowerPoints. What do you think the normal blood pressure should be? So if you know, please raise your hands. So is your blood pressure is under 140/70? Is that considered a normal blood pressure? So if you think that is under 120/80, is that a normal? Yes, you're right. The normal blood pressure should be under 120/80. So this is the normal blood pressures. So 120 plus 80 equal to 200. So before you answer whether your blood pressure is normal, you need to understand what is considered a normal blood pressure. So any of you check your blood pressures every day? Okay, no. So because you need to check your blood pressure every day, that's why I'm here to emphasize this. So the normal blood pressure should be under 120/80. a medical definition of a hypertension is greater or equal to 130 over 80. So any of you has the blood pressure over greater than 130? So under what kind of circumstances that you check your blood pressure will be considered to be a hypertension? So now we already cleared up this misconception about what considered to be hypertension. So the second misconception is, well, when I don't feel unwell, I don't need to take any medications. So from the doctor's point of view, I would like to tell you why it is so important to control your blood pressures. And the heart is located in the center of our body. So it connected to the other organs. So once the heart pumps and they will pump the nutrition and the oxygen toward all the organs in your bodies, and maybe to the thyroid, to your lung, to the liver, to your spleen, kidney, and also other organs you might not know. So, what does it mean the blood pressure is? Have you ever washed your floor at home? So when you use the hose to spray the floor, when you feel that the water flow is too low, maybe you will squeeze the end of the hose to stronger the water flow. So with the water flow to water the plant, what do you think the flower will be? The flower is just blossom, it just grows with a strong water flow. Do you think how long the flower can stand? And also hypertension with a high blood pressure, why it is so important, why you need to control it? Because if you let your blood pressure remain greater than 130, that means your blood pressure remains on the high blood flow that it keep so if you continuously remain this strong water flow to irrigate your water, irrigate your eyes, your kidneys, how long does your organ can last? So the high blood pressure is affecting our body, is damaging our body little by little every day without your awareness. But by the time you actually feel this, let's see what's going to happen, such as your eyes with continuously suffer from the high blood pressures. You might suffer from the your eyesight will degenerate and your eyesight will become blurry. And by the time you realize this, it might be too late. Your organs are already damaged. It might cause a stroke. And what is the syndrome of stroke? You might feel paralyzed on one side, and you might need people to help you. So do you feel that now? By the time you feel this, then it might be too late. When it affects your heart, it will cause the heart failure. Maybe you will feel the breathless. Maybe you only climb up one floor, then you feel short of breath. And at the end, you might suffer from the kidney failure and end up you need to receive the hemodialysis. So before you actually feel the syndrome, please control this, because I don't want to wait until you feel the syndrome, then you come to the doctor, because the blood pressure you need to prevent it in advance in order to prevent the cardiovascular disease. So when you are young, and you need to control your blood pressure in a normal range to reduce the burden from your families. So I asked you earlier about what is the normal range of the blood pressures. So what is the definition of a hypertension? Is that greater than 130 over 80? So when should you start to receive treatments? What do you think? Do you think it's greater than 130/80? Please raise your hands. Okay, no one. Do you think your blood pressure is over 140/80? You need to receive treatments, or greater than 150/80s? So actually, when your blood pressure is greater than 130/80, you need to receive treatments. So the diagnosis and the treatment is the same numbers. So seize the opportunity, seize the chance. Before you feel unwell, you need to start to prevent it in advance. Because by the time you get the stroke, you get the heart failure, then not only you need to take the blood pressure medication, you need to take many other medication. So by the time you still have a chance to control it, please don't wait until all the symptoms appears. So, and I asked you earlier that when should you receive a treatment? And some of you might think that because I'm older now, because I'm 70, 80 years old, so my blood pressure could be higher than the normal range. So is that okay? Do you also feel the same way too? Do you think that when people get older, we might not need to control our blood pressure in the normal range? So through this big scale of the research, it was doing the research for all the hypertension patients, including the people from age 50 to 84. I think some of you might be in this range. And we divided these patients into two groups. And one group controlled their blood pressure under 140, and the other groups controlled it under 120. And if you are the groups of the blood pressure under 140, so the way that we control it, you can feel out, you can see the difference. So after 5 years, there are, let's see the difference between these two groups. So the blue line symbolizes the group that control their blood pressure under 140, and the yellow line represents the blood pressure under 120. So what is the difference between the blood pressure under 120? So this group of people, they control their blood pressure under 120. There is high chance that you can get the stroke and heart failure or myocardial infarction or vascular death. The chance of the death will decrease by 25%. So if you can control your blood pressure under 120, it will decrease the chance to get affected by this disease. So it is really a little bit difficult to always control our blood pressure under the 120/80s. So regardless of age, regardless of your genders, regardless of your age, and it's the same. Our target is to control our blood pressure under 130/80s.
And the next myth, I don't feel anything. I didn't have to take medicine. I don't feel anything. If I started taking medicine, I cannot stop taking medicine anymore. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel that after you take medicine, you get addicted to the medicine? Do you feel the same way? Yes and no. The answer is yes and no. I want to tell you the reason. Is there any other ways that we could reduce lower our blood pressure? we can control our weight. If we want to control our weight, we could take a look at the BMI level. If your BMI number is not within the ideal range, if you lower 1 kilogram, you can lower your blood pressure for 1 millimeter of mercury. And also, you could take low sodium diet. If you take low sodium diet, you can lower your heart blood pressure for 3 millimeter of mercury. If you take 1 pill of the medicine to control your high blood pressure, you can lower 10 millimeter of mercury. So if you take, there is a DASH diet. If you follow the guideline of DASH diet is to eat good oil, eat less red meat, and eat more fiber. Following the guidelines, our blood pressure will lower 10 millimeter of mercury. In addition, we talk about if you take vegetarian diet, but you still have to watch out what you have take in vegetarian diet. Don't eat too much artificial made food. Take the food in their original form. And the next, you can do exercise. Exercise like cardio exercises such, and you can also do jogging, walking, swimming, and Tai Chi, yoga. Meditation, and all these activity you do can help lower blood pressure from 3 to 10 millimeter of mercury. So do you know that how much lower our blood pressure we could go if we take 1 pill of anti-hypertension drugs? 1 pill can lower high blood pressure to 10 millimeter of mercury. As I just mentioned, losing weight of 1 kilogram, high blood pressure will lower 1 millimeter. Therefore, if you lose weight of 5 kilo, you can lower high blood pressure of 5 millimeter. The effect equals to 1/2 of an anti-hypertension drug. If you take low sodium diet, you will gain the effect of an additional 1/2 of anti-hypertension pill. So if you follow the guidelines of DASH diet, you will lower further 10 milliliter of mercury. That equals to the effect of taking an anti-hypertension pill. Therefore, it is not impossible to stop taking hypertensive drugs. If you try your best to change your lifestyle and preserve, you will see the effect. And you can do the cardio exercise, and you can talk to your friend. If you exercise, and you are a little painting and you cannot sing, that is the strength of exercise you need. You need exercise for 150 minutes per week. Most of us, we take weekend off for 2 days. If you take exercise from Monday through Friday, you exercise 30 minutes per day from Monday through Friday, then you would take exercise for 150 minutes. That would help you to improve the health condition in your artery. And if you work If you work during the daytime and you only want to exercise during the weekend, you can do that too. That would help your heart condition too. You only need to exercise 150 minutes. That would help to improve your heart condition. If you exercise, the strength of your exercise, you need to exercise until you can still talk, but you cannot sing because you are out of breath. What is the normal blood pressure? It's 120/80. When we consider the high blood pressure, and when do we need to control our blood pressure? And the last I want to share, some of you don't take blood pressure. Most people, they don't take blood pressure regularly. They only take blood pressure when they don't feel well. But that's not the right way to take blood pressure. If you see a dog is chasing you, and your blood pressure do not hike up, there is a problem. But if when you were chased by a dog, and after you were chased by a dog and you take your blood pressure and it was 180, and you tell me you have a high blood pressure, that is not right, because that's a normal reaction in your body. And if you don't take blood pressure regularly, you won't be able to tell what is the true condition in your blood, in your heart. And when I'm talking, for example, when I'm talking here on the stage, my blood pressure won't be at a normal level. If after I'm done with my speech, I go down, I go off from the stage and I sit down, I take 5 minutes rest to take blood pressure. That blood pressure will be my normal blood pressure. And if I have headache and I take blood pressure and the blood pressure was high, I cannot tell if your high blood pressure cause you headache or there's other reason that cause you, other condition that cause you high blood pressure. So you have to take at least 5 minutes before you take blood pressure. You need to take blood pressure once in the morning and once at the night. And why do you have to take blood pressure once in the morning and once at night? Because I have to see your level, whether you have high blood pressure in the morning or high blood pressure at night. I have to adjust the blood pressure medicine for you. If you have high blood pressure, usually have higher blood pressure, in the morning I will have you to take blood pressure drug in the morning, so we could prevent the heart attack in the morning. So if you are not able, you are not able to take blood pressure twice a day, once in the morning and once at night, you at least please take your blood pressure in the morning, because a lot of people have high blood pressure in the morning. And every time you take blood pressure, you take twice and 2 minutes between two measurements, so that you take the average blood pressure for 2 times. So every time, and let me share. And this Mr. He's 72 years old. He can show me his record of blood pressure measure that he took. I'm going to share Mr. John. He's 63 years old, and his heart swelled, and he has high blood pressure, and he suffered from a cardiomyopathy situation, and his heart as well. And your heart should be like as big as your fist, but his heart as well. A normal healthy person's heart has just 60 to 70% of contraction function, but Mr. John has only 30% left. His high blood pressure and diabetes has caused him congestive heart failure. And the next case is a 70 years old Mr. Liu. He has high blood pressure, and when he came to the hospital, he felt chest pain. We conduct electrocardiography for him and check his cardio enzymes. We found both exam results were abnormal. He not only had high blood pressure, and also the level of cardiac enzymes were very high. We gave him an exam of cardiac catheterization. We found his arteries were seriously clogged. Therefore, we performed procedure to take care of his arteries. So the patient of the first case suffered from congestive heart failure caused by high blood pressure, and the second patient of the second case suffered from myocardial infarction caused by his high blood pressure. So I hope that you don't have to take medicine for a lot of complication. You only need to take high blood pressure drugs to control your blood pressure. So we could control your blood pressure under 130/80 level. So to control your high blood pressure is a very important task that you need to take. So you don't need to borrow your family to take care of you. The third myth, when your age is high, you don't need to worry about your high blood pressure. It is a myth, because we need to control the blood pressure level under 130/80, because if you can control your blood pressure well, you can reduce the opportunity to get stroke. If you control your body weight and persevere, and if you start taking medicine, you cannot stop taking medicine anymore. It's right or wrong. The answer is that if you if you can control your diet, and if you can reduce the sodium intake, and if you eat more vegetable and eat less red meat, and if you exercise regularly, you could control your blood. You could reduce your blood pressure level. And I'm going to share. There are a lot of ways, a lot of kinds of hypertensive drug, and there are more than 10 kinds of drugs to control your blood pressure. There are a lot of different various kinds of blood pressure control. And when you have high blood pressure, if you have kidney failure, or if you have, and I would give you prescribe the medicine to protect your kidney. And if you have a heart condition, I will give you the medicine to control your blood pressure that would also help protect your heart condition. And in conclusion, please take blood pressure regularly and control your blood pressure under 130/80. Wow. And you make vow to become a doctor. Do you have a second vow? I want to. If I cannot become a doctor, I would like to become a nutritionist. I think he talks so well. He could become a very great teacher. He became a Qichi volunteer when he was very young. He was with his, he grew up in Qichi failure. He talked very well, maybe because he was trained in Qichi when he was very young. He had to lead Qichi activity when he was very young. He elaborated his ideas so well. If you didn't know that she was a female doctor, and if you only see her name, you would think that her name was. You cannot tell that it was a female name. If you see them talk to each other, they exchange their ideas. And some people, they would ask me, how do I find these great doctors to come here to conduct the sharing to the audience? Actually, these doctors were recommended by Qichi hospital systems. The superintendent of the Qichi hospital will recommend great doctors to us. And I went to Malaysia, Qichi in Malaysia. I was welcomed by a very special ceremony, and I was very touched. And the doctor was in the welcome team. And how come you didn't know me? I went to Malacca. My first station when I went to Qichi in Malaysia. Don't worry about your sharing. After you listen to her sharing, and her sharing was humor and very precise. We hope that you could come here, doctor. You could come here to conduct sharing more often. I cannot plan that for further opportunity for her to come because all the doctors were recommended by the Qichi doctor, Qichi hospital system. She is so beautiful, such a beautiful doctor. How come you are so energetic? How come you are not a cardio exercise instructor? And when she is asking question, how come you are not answering? And she would wonder why you are not answering my question. And Dr. Chen is very energetic and very easygoing and is very professional. I admire her. Thank you. I didn't know where you were from, but you just wrote. Thank you. The Qichi Hospital, Qichi University trained this great doctor who is very beautiful and very well conducted her speech. Thank you for sharing the 5 minutes for us to watch out. So you were listening to your sharing. It's like giving us a note for us to calm our worry down, so we don't need to worry anymore, because we have confidence that if we can control, we can change our lifestyle, and we exercise, and we take low sodium diet, and we lose weight. It would help us to control our blood pressure. So not only to take medicine, we could change lifestyle to control our blood pressure. And we see that she from very young age, she grew up in Qichi world. And some people ask health question in online. Please go to Dalin Qichi Hospital to visit the doctor to ask the health question. You don't have to answer in here. Let's take a look at the PowerPoint presentation. Dr. Chen, she gave me a PDF for presentation form, but I have to open up her PDF using not my computer, but I learned how to open up PDF now.